Sitting up nice and tall so that your shoulders are over your hips, long, smooth breaths. And I know some of us might think that, like, why do we start here? But we really want to connect with ourselves at the very beginning of practice, kind of release whatever we've been doing before we come to our mat, connect to our body, connect to our breath. And so as you settle in, just noticing how you feel physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally. And then as you notice how you're feeling, thinking about how you want to feel when we're done with practice. And part of that is setting our intention. And so once you decide how you want to feel, bringing your hands to your heart center, setting that intention at your heart, Anjali Mudra. And instead of saying, like, I want to feel whatever, say it as if it's already happening. So I feel energized, I feel loose, whatever it is that you're hoping to achieve with our practice. And then once you set your intention down in the hip of the heart, heart to the earth, then we'll begin the moving part of our practice. So thinking about the possibility of using your breath, being aware of your breath as we move through the practice, we're going to start by rolling through our body. And yes, I know we do this often because it helps in so many ways to kind of loosen things up, get the energy flowing, and then pause for a moment and go a couple of times in the other direction. All right, and then let's stretch out our legs into a wide angle, not so wide that it pulls on your groin. And if you have tennis balls, I want you to grab them. And we're going to bend your knees, lift up a little bit, so you're not going to put them right under the points of your sit bones, right? We're putting them just before them. And then you're going to straighten out your legs a little bit. And if it's too intense, you move your body back, right? And then you might keep your knees bent a little bit. We're going to go side to side, maybe bending and straightening your legs, maybe moving the pelvis front to back. So a lot of times you do this with the legs out in front of us. So I want you to notice the difference of having just a small angle of your legs. And of course, we don't want to be in that place where you're like holding your breath, cringing, crying.
You just have to try it like straight to see.
Yeah.
It really was as much of a difference.
It's huge. It's yeah. So one of the in-class participants put their legs straight to try the difference, and it really is a big difference. And you're like, how could that angle make such a difference? Right? Now, eventually you'll come to a place where you either keep your knees bent or straighten your legs. Of course, you're going to do what feels okay in your body. I want to keep a little bit of a bend. And then we're going to do that same circle motion that we did sitting up. And we're not going for big circles. You're moving in a way that feels good, pausing, going the other direction. All right. Now I want you to come up onto your heel, right? And then you're going to just alternate through your feet. And again, like just, you know, I always talk about exploration, noticing how it feels as we do these different things. And then we're going to straighten one leg, bring the other leg in. So now you have one leg out at an angle, the other leg is bent. I took my tennis ball out, and then I'm going to place it back behind. Now I'm not near my hip anymore, I'm at the top of the thigh. And then turn towards the straight leg. And you're going to inhale up and exhale towards that leg. And you could slide your hand up and down the leg. You could keep your hands on the floor. You're just noticing, you know, and if this knee is way up in the air, you might put a blanket or a block underneath so that it's supported. And we don't want any strain in our knees, ankles, or hips. And I know if you're dealing with chronic pain, that you might be like, well, it always feels like that. All right, so next time you come up, we're gonna switch those legs. And I'm just switching around my tennis balls a little bit. So again, our second leg is out at an angle, the other leg is bent. If the knee is up, you're gonna support it. Hands on the floor or on the leg, you're gonna flex that foot. And again, inhale up and exhale down. And no forcing. This is the time where I feel my temperature rise all of a sudden. And you're just moving up and down with your breath. And because we are just at the beginning of our practice, we're still warming up, right? So we're not necessarily hoping to get to that place of, you know, touching our head to our knee, although you may. Now, again, next time we're sitting up, we're gonna bend both knees, and you're gonna take those tennis balls, place them to the low back, and then lean your body back into the tennis balls and move your knees side to side. And if you're tender here, which, you know, some of us are, make sure that you're in a place that feels okay, right? Nothing that we do in here should ever hurt. And you might want to move your body down more or up more, depending on sensation. All right. So eventually you'll come to a place where you stop rolling those legs, and you're gonna have your feet far away from your groin. So we have a diamond, but your feet aren't up next to your groin. You're gonna take those tennis balls, and they're gonna go not to your hips because it would be hard to get there, but at the top of the thighs. And you're letting your legs soften towards the ground, so you're not pushing them with your hands. And again, we're gonna inhale up, exhale down. So each one of these stretches are a little bit different. So my hope is that you'll feel and stretch different parts of your body all in the same vicinity. Just moving with the breath. Again, next time that you come up, we're gonna bring those knees together. We're gonna get rid of the tennis balls now. And very carefully, you might roll to your side or you might roll straight back. We're gonna come down onto the back body. And you have your arms at your side. And what I want you to do is you're gonna press your feet into the floor, and we're just gonna tilt through the pelvis, front to back. So like you're lifting the pubic bone up towards the sky and exhaling it down towards the earth. Just moving with your breath, tilting through the pelvis, no forcing. And then eventually we'll come to a place where we stop, and let's bring the right knee in, and we're gonna roll through that hip. And some people like to hold their knee, some people don't. And you wanna make sure you go a few times in each direction. And eventually we'll come to a place where we stop and put that foot on the ground, and then bring your other knee in, and again, start to roll through the hip a couple of times in each direction. And again, this gives us information, right? And it also helps to loosen up the joint a little bit. And we're gonna come to a place where we're gonna keep this second knee up and bring the other one up to join it. Now we're gonna take your thigh bones, your femurs, and have them perpendicular to the ground. Hands are gonna be on your thighs. Your lower legs are parallel with the floor, the feet are flexed. Inhale is gonna be in this position, and we're gonna isometrically press hands into thighs, thighs into hands. Exhale, bring those knees towards the chest. And we're not going for our deepest position here. It's a slight movement. Inhale, press those thighs away. Exhale, they come in towards your body. And I know sometimes when people do this, they want to straighten their legs towards the floor, and that's not what we're doing, right? You never go past your thigh bones being perpendicular to the ground, meaning when you move away from your body. All right. Now, eventually, we'll come to a place where we stop, put those feet onto the ground. One at a time, we'll roll over to the side, and then let's come all the way up. And we'll need one tennis ball once we come up to standing. Just gonna tilt this up a smidge. And so once you are up standing, let's grab that tennis ball and roll through the feet. So today our focus is going to be hips and balance. So the feet, I mean, there's so many parts of us that come into play when we're doing balance work, and the feet are definitely one of the primary participants. This is really great to do for those of you who live in North America. It's great to do in the winter anyway. And then we're going to do the second foot. Every time I start this, I'm like, we could just keep doing this. Yeah, for foot rolling. Yes. Phone alarms for foot rolling. All right, now, if you have 2 tennis balls, and you can do it with one, you'll just have to make sure that you do both feet. We're gonna keep the heels on the ground and place the tennis balls under the padded part under the toes. So the top of the foot under the toes. And then you're gonna bend and straighten your legs. So inhale up, exhale, bend, and make sure you let your hips go, so there's, meaning bend, so that you're not putting a lot of stress on the low back. So you probably feel your calves stretching, and that soleus underneath the calves, maybe your Achilles. You're just kind of noticing what you feel. And then we'll come to a place where we're standing up. And of course, you can have a slight bend in the knee. We're going to have the hands on the thighs. And you're going to inhale up and exhale halfway down. And pay attention to what's happening in your feet. So inhale is up, exhale is halfway down. And make sure, I need to stabilize through my feet as I'm doing this. And to do that, I can have my toes stretched out, and I'm still pressing down with the front and the back of the foot. Now, next time we're halfway down, we're gonna pause here, and we're gonna inhale here and exhale into a deeper fold. So we're not coming all the way up now, we're coming halfway up and exhaling in towards the legs. And we do this pose often, right? And notice how it feels differently with those tennis balls under in front of your feet. And I just realized if you don't have 2 tennis balls, this would be really hard to do. So you could use a rolled up mat, you could use a rolled up towel or a blanket. Now next time you inhale, let's come all the way up. And then we're gonna put those tennis balls under the heels. And you want a little bit of yellow protruding behind your heels so you stay off of your arches. And just for a few breaths, we're gonna inhale up and exhale all the way down. And making sure that you're safe, right? Because it's always safety first. So inhaling all the way up, exhaling all the way down. One more time. Nice. And then when you're up, you're gonna move those tennis balls to a safe place, meaning a place where you're not going to trip on them. And then let's roll through our shoulders. You're just inhaling those shoulders up, exhale, rolling them back. Noticing how you're feeling as you move. Great. And then let's come towards the front of your mat. And we're gonna start with, so you start with your feet about hip width apart, and then you're gonna step your right leg back into a high, it's like warrior one leg, so your feet are hip width apart and about a leg's distance. And then I just want you to bend and straighten that front leg a little bit. Moving with your breath. And we don't want to move so far that your knee comes over your foot. You want the knee to stay over the ankle. Nice. Now in one of these exhales, we're going to come all the way down and possibly come up onto your toes. And you might have blocks under your hands, or your hands are on the floor. And you're noticing, and you could have that back foot on the ground if that feels better in your body. We're going to take the hands onto the thigh if that's possible, connect with our breath. And the inhale is going to be elbows bent, like goalposts, right? And exhale, you're going to straighten that front leg and extend the arms. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, extend the arms and straighten the front leg. Just moving with your breath. There's no force here, right? And you could have that back foot up or down. 2 more. And after our inhale, let's exhale the hands down to the ground. And we're going to take your right hand onto the floor or the block, left hand onto your thigh, gentle twist towards the inner thigh. Remember, we're still warming up, right? So noticing all the sensations in your body, noticing your breath, adjusting your twist to a way that works for your body. On an exhale, we'll turn back towards the floor and step the back foot forward. And then we're going to step back with your left foot and come into our warrior one legs. So feet hip width apart, about a leg's distance, heel is down. And we're going to bend and straighten that front leg. So we're still down on this one. We're not coming up yet. We're starting a little bit closer to the ground, and your heel is on the ground in the back. And you're bending and straightening the front leg. The knee comes over the ankle. Noticing your breath and sensations in your body. Now, you might start next time the knee is bent, pivot up onto your back foot. And if appropriate, pull your hands onto your thigh. Always doing it a step at a time, right? Reconnecting with your breath. Bending the elbows like cacti. Inhale is here, exhale, extend the arms and straighten the leg. Inhale, bend the elbows, bend the knee. You might notice some similarities or differences. You might just be focused on your breath. So again, next time we inhale with our elbows bent, we're going to exhale the hands down to the ground. Keep your left hand on the ground, right hand comes onto the thigh, belly towards the inner thigh. Long, smooth breaths. Adjusting your body as needed, noticing sensation. On an exhale, turning towards the ground, stepping that back foot forward, inhaling up. And then let's extend those arms up overhead, and your feet are a comfortable distance apart. And I just want you to reach up towards the sky. And I realize on the video you can't see my hands, but I'm Straightening out my arms and reaching towards the sky, moving through the side bodies, still breathing. Beautiful. And then you're going to stand about feet hip width apart, arms down at your side. Inhale, we're going to take both arms up. We're going to keep the feet flat at first and just move through the arms. Inhale is up, exhale is down. Now, this next one, next time your hands are down, we're going to come up onto the toes if that feels okay. Inhale up, exhale down, no rush. Beautiful. Now we're going to come to shoulder height. We're going to take one arm forward, one arm back. Inhale up, exhale down. No rush. And if it works in your body, you're going to take both arms up overhead and connect your hands. Inhale is up, exhale is down. Alternating sides, keeping your face and your body pointing forward, although they will pivot a little bit. And the next time you finish your second side, we're going to pause. And now, keeping your feet flat on the ground again. And you want to be like loose, not loose, but soft in your joints, so you're not like locking out your knees or anything like that. So feet are going to stay flat. Inhale, you're going to take one arm up, turn the head away from that arm. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, other arm comes up, turn your head away. Exhale, back to center. And just kind of noticing all of our joints and muscles as we're moving. And this next time when we finish the second side, you're going to pause for a moment, just check in. How are you feeling right now? And then we're going to add in a chair pose. So we're going to inhale, both arms up. Exhale, take one arm back, twist your body. Inhale up. Alternate sides. And we're not necessarily going for our deepest chair here. We're flowing with our breath. You know, I like this one because we do it often. And it really involves so much of your body, turning your head, your torso, and your arms, and bending the hips and the knees and the ankles. One more time on each side. Beautiful. And as you come back to center, just pausing for a moment and rolling through those shoulders, shaking out your hands. And then for a moment, let's focus on our head and neck. So we're just going to take the chin towards the chest. And we're not going to rush this. You're just going to notice what you feel in the upper back body, the back of the neck. And with the chin tilted forward, let's take the right ear towards the right shoulder. Keep breathing. Notice what you're feeling. Sometimes I like to massage the outside part that I'm stretching as I'm holding the head hair. Sometimes I just like the weight of the head. And then you're going to tilt back to the center so your chin is still pointing towards your chest. And then we're going to bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. And again, massaging the side of the neck or just letting it stretch with the weight of your head and still breathing. And we're going to come back to the center, the chin's still down, and then let's lift up the head, shake out your arms and your shoulders. How's everybody doing? Okay. Now let's take the weight into the right foot. We're going to come up onto the left toes and just pivot through that whole leg. And you're noticing, how does this feel? My ankle, my knee, my hip, right? What's happening in your pelvis as you're doing this? Does it feel stuck or is it moving? And then we're going to take that left foot down, come up onto the right toes and do that same thing. And it would be absolutely okay to grab onto, a wall or a chair, bar in the back of the room. All right. And again, we're going to take the right foot, flatten the floor, come up onto the left toes, turn the knee out and walk that heel in towards your ankle. And then we're going to slide it up without using our hands. Place your hands on your heart center. Or again, if you're holding on to something, one hand to the heart center, breathe. And then possibly bringing those arms up overhead and maybe opening them up, maybe moving as you open them with your breath. And you can do any of those arm positions that feel good to you. Eventually, we're going to bring the hands back to the heart center, bring the knee forward, place the foot on the ground, release your hands, roll through your shoulders, shake out your arms, make sure you're still breathing, and then weight onto the left foot, up onto the right toes, open that knee out, slide the foot up and place your hands on your heart center. Breathe and focus. And again, you might stay here, you might extend the arms overhead, you might move the arms. You're just moving in a way that feels good to you, noticing your balance and your breath. And again, eventually we'll bring those hands to the heart center, knee forward, foot down onto the ground. And again, shake out your arms, roll your shoulders. We're gonna use a tennis ball now. And of course, you don't have to do this if you want to work with your foot flat on the ground, that would be okay. We're gonna take the tennis ball under the right heel. And again, you have a little bit of yellow protruding out the back. You're gonna come up onto the left toes, turn the knee out, and you might use it here like a kickstand with your heel against your ankle, or you might start to slide the foot up the lower leg. Engage your foot, engage your breath, use your core. And again, you might possibly extend the arms up overhead, move through those arms, breathe and focus. You're finding a way that works for you. Keep breathing. And again, eventually we'll bring the hands to the heart center. The knee forward, the foot comes down. We're going to step off that tennis ball. Before we move to the second side, I just want you to bring your hands onto your legs. Inhale up, exhale halfway down. Let your knees bend as much as they want to. And just moving with your breath. Inhale is up. Exhale is halfway down. For some of us, doing that kind of balance pose can aggravate the low back, so you're paying attention to what's happening in your body and always countering it. All right, so next time you come up, you're gonna find your tennis ball if you're using it, place it under your heel, a little bit of yellow sticking out there, engage your foot. I actually keep this knee soft in the standing leg. And again, we'll come up onto the right toes, turn that knee out, hands to your heart center. Heel starts pressing into the ankle, and you might stay here the whole time. Or you might start to slide the foot up. And again, you might start to explore moving your arms. You're breathing this whole time. Keep breathing, stay focused. The nice thing about poses like this, it's really hard to do other things like plan your day or your grocery list or talk to your neighbor. Just breathe and focus. Now eventually the hands will return back to the heart center. Knee will come forward, foot will come down. And this time, instead of going down, we're going to inhale both arms up and exhale arms back to the side bodies. Inhale up, exhale down. Now next time your arms are at your sides, We're gonna inhale up, exhale all the way down to the ground. And then you might use a block or your hands on the floor. We're gonna walk the hands over to one side, shift your hips away. Breathing, feeling your feet on the ground. In the next breath or two, making your way back to the center and moving to the second side. Again, in your own time, making your way back to the center. And now we're in our forward bend. You have your hands on the ground or they're on some blocks. And you might have a block in the center of your legs now, and place your hands on the block. We're going to walk the right foot to center and start to bring your left leg up so that it's parallel to the ground. And then you might explore, and you could have your hands on two blocks too. You might explore taking your hands onto your leg or out to the side. Exploring how your body wants to move here. And eventually we're going to bring that left foot down and bring it to the center. And you're still breathing this whole time. And we're going to bring the right leg up parallel to the floor. The foot is flexed. And again, explore the possibility of taking your hands off the block, or bringing them out to the side, or even overhead, whatever feels good to you. Still breathing, eventually bringing the hands back down to the ground. And the foot comes down, hands come onto your leg. Let's inhale up. How's everybody doing? Okay. Make sure you're not too dizzy when we come up. Roll through those shoulders. Wiggle through your fingers. And then if you have a strap. I looked at the strap and said block. I don't know what that means. And at home, you can use a belt or a sock or a shirt, stockings. You could also do what we're going to do with a bent leg and just hold the bent leg, right? So we're going to have the weight on the left foot and the strap around the padded part of the right foot. And you could have your hand on the wall. We're going to just walk this leg forward. You're going to walk your hand down the strap so your elbow is straight. The other arm we use as balance. Keep breathing and focus. And then ever so slowly, you're going to walk that leg out, not bringing it above hip height. Come to a place that feels good. And then we'll come back to the center. Bring that foot down. Keep breathing. How did that feel? Okay, all right, second side. All right, so I want you to connect with your breath. When you're ready, again, start to walk that leg up. Walk your hand down the strap so your elbow's straight. Other arm for balance. And then again, ever so slowly, starting to open that leg out to the side. Long, smooth breaths. Beautiful. Coming back to the center. The foot comes down. And we're going to let go of our strap now. And I want you to just feel your feet on the ground, feet about hip width apart. We're going to take the hands onto the hips. Bring your weight into your left foot, and we're just going to move through the leg, right? I just want you to, the foot is flexed. You're going to bring it forward and bring it back. And you might stop down in the middle, or you might keep it in the air. You're just kind of noticing, like, how does it feel to move through that joint? How does it feel in your hips and your buttocks? And then you'll bring that foot to the ground. You're still breathing. And we're going to explore the second side. So the foot is flexed, and you're just moving through the leg. again, eventually we're going to place that foot on the floor. We're going to come into a wide angle. You might like to have a block in front. So here, my body is parallel to the floor. My hands are on the block, but they could be on the floor. Legs are straight, but they bend. And what I want you to do is just start to bend one knee, keep the other leg straight, and then bend the other. No rush. And because we're not moving our hands, we might not bend as deeply, and that's okay because we just want to loosen things up a little bit. Now, next time you finish your second side, we're going to pause in the middle, and we're going to take the right hand down to the ground. Your eyes are going to follow your left hand as you reach up towards the sky. And if that doesn't feel good in your shoulder, you could have your hand on your hip. Now, if you want to extend this a little bit further, you can take that arm around your back body and reach for the opposite hip. But we don't rush or force anything. And then stretch that arm up, come back down to the center. And then on the inhale, reach the other arm up. Your eyes are following your other hand. And again, it could be on your hip, up towards your the sky, or wrapped around your body. Continuing to breathe. Noticing all the wonderful sensations in your body. And eventually we're going to stretch that arm up and exhale down towards the ground. And here, I want you to feel your feet on the ground, bend your knees. We're going to bring the forearms onto the thighs. So we're just kind of going, step by step. And then we're going to lift the body up. So we're in kind of a wide squat. How's that feel? Okay. Then we're going to stretch out like a 5-pointed star, so straightening the arms and the legs. So inhale's going to be here. Exhale, you're going to bend the elbows, press your hands towards your head and bend the knees. Inhale, extend. I usually like to make noise when I do this one. It feels good. Any opportunity to make noise. Beautiful. Now, next time we come down, we're going to stay here. You're going to keep breathing. Relax those arms, roll through your shoulders. Is this okay on everybody's hips so far? Now, I want you to come up onto your left toes. Lift the heel, so find your balance. Bring it down, second side. Beautiful. One more time on each side without rushing it. Beautiful. And then when you do that second side, we're going to exhale down towards the ground. Breathe and focus. Now, I want you to stretch your right arm forward so it's in line with your ear, right? It's parallel with the floor. And then we'll bring it down and do the second side. Beautiful. Bring it down to the ground. Let's walk our feet in. And then we're going to come down to the ground into a squat. You're like, what? And you could put a blanket under your heels, a block under your butt. You can have your feet wide, your toes pointed to the sides or forward. Mine don't naturally point forward in this position. And you're breathing, your back is rounded here. That'll look good. Okay. You might even bring your chin in towards your chest so you're stretching the back of the neck and the upper back body as well. And then in your own time, we're going to carefully make our way down to the floor. And this time, I want you to take your right leg and it's going to come forward. So earlier when we were just warming up, we had the leg out to the side, but now you're going to bring it forward. And again, if your knee is up in the air, you'll put a blanket or a block underneath. Your other foot is pressing into your thigh. We're going to take those hands onto your thigh. Inhale, body up. Exhale, slide down. Moving with your breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So one of the things I noticed right away, now of course it's different too when the leg is straight as opposed to at an angle, is that my spine is much more flexible than when we started at the beginning of our time together. Now next time you come forward, we're going to stay wherever you come to, and then you're going to take your bent knee hand and bring it to the outside of that leg. And your straight leg hand is going to push down on the ground and you're going to twist towards that inner thigh. And I'm trying to do different angles so you know what I'm talking about. And without forcing anything, right? Don't twist further than it feels good. And then we'll exhale back towards the leg. Inhale, come on up. And then we're going to straighten both legs. Hands on your thighs, inhale, body up, exhale towards your legs. Just moving with your breath. And of course, next time we come up, you're going to take your right foot into the inner thigh, straighten out the left leg. And again, if you find that knee, like on this side, my knee definitely floats a lot. Hands onto the thigh, inhale, body up, exhale, slide down. Moving with your breath, no rush, noticing sensations. Now next time you come down towards your leg, right hand to the outside of that foot or leg, left hand presses into the floor, body stays long as you twist your belly to the left. Keep breathing. On an exhale, well, on the inhale, let's lengthen. Exhale, we'll turn back towards the center. Come on up. And instead of straightening both legs, what I want you to do is bend both legs. So you might straighten them first and then bend them. And so here we are now, we're seated, and you have your knees bent, and you're going to take your hands behind you, and you could have your fingers pointing towards your back, pointing to the sides, or pointing away, whatever feels good, because we're going to put weight into those hands. And your feet, you're going to walk them close to your buttocks, and you're going to try to keep your feet on the floor. The inhale, you're going to lift your hips, you're going to keep your vision pointing forward, and exhale, come down. And if this doesn't work for your wrists, you could be on your elbows. You might not come up as far, in fact you won't, because your upper arm is much shorter than the whole arm. But we want to get that movement through our body. Now, next time your hips come down to the ground, we're going to very carefully make our way onto our back body. And just like we did in the very beginning, you have your feet on the ground. We're just going to start to tilt through the pelvis with your breath. And we want to relax the low back and the back of the pelvis to the ground. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath. And then very carefully, we're gonna lift one leg up at a time so your knees come towards your body. So now the knees are bent and your arms are along the sides. The inhale is gonna be arms overhead, press your feet towards the sky. Exhale, knees to the chest, arms come to the floor. Inhale, arms overhead, legs perpendicular to the ground. Exhale, knees towards the chest, arms come down. And you're moving with your breath. One more time. And then once you exhale, your knees are towards the chest. Some of you might like to just stay there for a moment. Some of you might like to roll through your knees. Kind of see what feels good. And then carefully bring your feet to the ground one at a time. And we're going to check in with your body. Is there anything else that you need before you move into Shavasana? Some of you might want to take a supported pose. Some of you might want to do some sort of stretch. So just ask your body what it needs. And sometimes, it's like, what does my body need? And we don't really, we're not used to listening to those cues. And so just checking in. And then after you do whatever your body needs, I'm going to invite you to get into Shavasana. So remember, in Shavasana, we're usually in some sort of prone position. You might like support under your legs or under your low back. And you're going to make sure that you are as comfortable as you possibly can be, that you're warm. And then as you get yourself set up, I want you to ask yourself, is there anything that you can do to make it even just a little bit more comfortable, right? Is your arm hanging in the air? Is your head in a position where it kind of pulls on your neck? Just get yourself into a comfy spot. And then as you settle in, just starting to focus on the breath moving through your body. Inhaling in all that your mind and body and spirit need, and exhaling anything that doesn't serve you. Toxins, negative thoughts. So before you make a whole lot of movement, I want you to start to bring the awareness back to your body and your breath. I want you to imagine that on your next inhale that you breathe in through your left nostril and then breathe out through your right. Breathe in through the right and out through the left. Breathe in left, out right, in right, out left. One more time. In through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. And as you're ready, starting to gently reawaken, move your body, stretch in any way that you need to. And eventually coming into a comfortable seat. I thought of that chant dietary because even though there's snow outside here, like the sun is shining, it's like greeting the day. And so as you come to a seated place, you might bring your hands to your heart center and, greet yourself and the day in whatever way is appropriate to you. Noticing how you feel and how you want to be throughout your day. Maybe you're busy, but you want to stay peaceful. Maybe you have a really relaxed day coming up. And when that feels complete, we're going to release the hands and inhale up towards the sky. Let's exhale the sound Q to the heart. Inhaling the arms out to the sides, exhaling ah to the heart. And inhaling as we scoop up from the earth the sound breath. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I thank all of my teachers, past and present. And I am truly grateful to be able to continue to offer these teachings to you. So thank you for being here. Namaste.
Namaste.